Welcome to the Drone Bay. I am your host today, Croven, and it is day one of Capsuleer Day 21 here in 2024, and we are going to be running some filaments. So specifically, we're going to be running the Vicious Electrical Filament, which is the second tier of the combat filaments. Now, in order to get these, there are some other videos out there. I might do one as well, just because I have one fit for the Astero that I use to run both the combat and the relic sites. So maybe I'll show that off at some other point. But basically, you go to the relic sites and the anomalies in K-Space, you get the blueprint copies and the materials to make the tier 1 filaments, which I have some of in here. These are for the relic sites. And then you get the materials from those to make the tier 2, and so on and so forth. And honestly, right now, maybe one of the best ways to make money on this event is to sell the filaments, because I did just pull this one out of the cooker. This is the tier 3 relic site. I spent about 100, it was about 100 and something million worth of materials, and look at that. 300 million for one of those. And let's see. And yeah, they're apparently selling, though not many. Most people probably aren't to the point where they can even make those yet. So anyway, that is perhaps a discussion for another time, but for today, we're going to go a-hunting. And to do that, we're going to use the Vexor. So let's go ahead and take a look at the fit. Now, I have been running a little bit with things a little bit different, but I wanted to try something new for this run. So I've got a couple of railguns in the top, dual 150s, and this is largely to help with the frigates. The problem was I was not tracking the frigates very well, and they're too far away for blasters. I mean, given the Vexor's bonuses or lack thereof, I suppose I could put autocannons on there, and that might be the smart move. But instead, I removed a cap recharger and put a web on. And the reason for that is, since it is an electrical site, if you're not familiar with the Abyss, each filament has its own weather. And electrical sites, they give a hit to your EM resistance, but they give you a significant bonus to your cap recharge rate. So I was running full tilt every module on and never went below like 75% cap last time I was in there. So anyway, there's the railguns. A drone link augmenter. This is important because you need to be able to send drones all the way out to the edge of your lock range for the sentry towers, which we'll get to momentarily. 10 meganewton enduring afterburner, large lead acid cap battery, cap recharger 2, the web we just put on, 2 medium armor repairer 2s, damage control 2, multi-spec energized membrane, drone damage amplifier, 2 auxiliary nanopumps, and a medium explosive armor reinforcer, because we have an explosive hull being an armor tanking ship. So pretty basic setup. And then in the bay, we've got some Imperial Navy Praetors, Infiltrator 2s, and Acolyte 2s. The next thing I might do is swap out the Tech 2 for Navies. They do a little bit less damage because the drone specialization skills don't apply to them. However, they're tankier, and I think they're a little faster, and I know they track better from the Abyss. So, all right, speaking of, make sure that we've repaired our drones. Double check our filament, because I definitely did not start recording a video, get out of the station, and realize I had the wrong filament. That is not a thing that happened. At any rate, let us undock from 4.4, and we have arrived. We're just at a bookmark I made here in Jita. You can run these in Jita absolutely fine. One thing worth noting, however, is you do need to have your safety to either yellow or red in order to activate these filaments. And if you've just warped off from the station or had a session change or anything like that, you do need to move just a tiny bit in order to activate the filament. It's always been that way for Abyssal filaments. I'm not sure why. I'm sure I had it explained to me before my last hiatus. So, without further ado, let's jump in. And here we are. So we do actually have, it's a Leshak. I think I've run 5 of these now, and all but one have been Leshacks. So, first things first, let's take a look at this damaged warpost. This is something that needs to die very quickly. This is how I actually lost an Omen the first time I tried to do this, because I only had a single rep set up, and I did not realize just how devastating these things are, damage-wise. Yes, yes. We know we don't have any shields left. So there we go. And that's what the Drone Link Augmenter is for right there. And you see, I wonder if you could see the drone slowed down there, because that purple cloud is an anti-tachyon cloud. If you've run the Abyss, you know what that little white cloud over there is. That speeds you up. White cloud go fast, purple cloud go slow. So, just worth noting there. And I did bring this web for a reason, so let's go ahead and get... Where is that other one? I would say they're usually at opposite ends. I think there is no wall of death. Normally in the Abyss, if you go outside of the boundaries, then you start taking damage and will die. That's not the case in this one. Apparently this is like the Doctor Who Abyssals, which I never ran because I was on hiatus at that point. But yeah, if you go out one side, you pop back in on the other, which is kind of neat. Potentially a way to move around a little faster, but we don't need to worry about that. We'll have all kinds of time. That web does seem to be helping with the application on these little guys too. It's another note about that purple cloud. While it does slow you down, it also reduces your signature radius. So I could see instances where you might want that, but realistically, the problem that arises is that it makes the drones even harder to hit. They were already not easy. As you can see, even having removed a cap recharger for a web, our capacitor's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. And with that first sentry down, our tank is in no danger at all. Go ahead and take the opportunity to get some damage in on this Leshak, because yeah, that's what I thought. One of my quests is now deal damage to battleships, so let's get damage in that battleship. Alright, targeting range of this fella here. So I have killed all the frigates. There will be more. They come back. Now, if you're doing the tier 1s, the tier 1s don't have the sentries. You can just start wailing on the battleship. I do recommend dropping the frigates quickly because, as we saw, they do like to shoot drones. And where is my Edencom box? It's up there. So we're going to try to get up there while avoiding the Go Slow Cloud. Because what that is, it's a little bonus loot box. The main loot is going to come off the battleship, but the loot out of these can be pretty nice. Not in a combat site, but in one of the relic abyssals, I pulled a Genolution implant, which helps with fitting. It gives you extra power grid and capacitor no matter what ship you're flying. And I got one of those worth about 100 mil out of one of these boxes. But much more frequently, you're going to get things like past Capsuleer Day clothing items. You might get some skins. I haven't gotten any spectacular skins. That implant is by far the coolest thing I've gotten out of one of those. But there is the potential for some really neat stuff. And as you can see, the Leshak is webbing us. His webs, unlike player webs, range, how far away you are, affects how much he's able to slow you. You can see our speed is gradually going up as we pull range on him. And they're shooting the drones again. See, this is why, and I keep saying that, I keep not doing it. Next round, I am going to swap over to some Navy drones just to see if it lets me, frankly, pay less attention to what I'm doing. Like every good EVE player should. Alright, we're going to shimmy on up here. Not bad. Ooh, Glamour X booster. That could be really good. Glamour X boosters, if you're not familiar, they are the ones that increase your standing gain. So people who are grinding for mission runners or for pirate militias or any of the militias, because you need standings for that, people like Glamour X. It's also good for trade alts. If you can put them in a fleet with someone running missions and share the standings boost and loyalty points and all that jazz, it's a good way to get lower taxes for your trade alts. Now that all that's done, we're just going to meander back toward the conduit here. Something I did not mention, I don't know if you can see my recording overlay is actually right in the way right now, but unlike a normal Abyss, where you've got 20 minutes to complete it, you've got 30 minutes in here. So yeah, as someone who runs Abysses pretty regularly, this is great. This I can just kind of chill, hang out, watch my drones get shot. Yeah, probably help if I brought other ammunition for the railguns too for these guys, but the guns are kind of an afterthought. I don't know, might be worth just dropping them and using that fitting room on something else. But for the T2s at least, this really doesn't need anything else. It's fine. Oh, in case you've never seen one, let's demonstrate the effects of a go-fast cloud. If you are not savvy on the Abyss, so we're being webbed, but we're still able to do about 450 meters per second. And we're about to hit this tachyon cloud. And we go fast. We go so fast. And so we're doing this while still being webbed, though not webbed very much, because like I said, his webs are affected by distance. So we're just going to chew on this battleship for a while. So, I don't know, you might have just jump cut here to me, continuing to chew down these waves of frigates. Because they can hurt. Especially with that Lashak up. And they do like shooting our drones. And we've skipped ahead here. We're just pounding away on this guy. Now, like I said, most of the ones I've gotten have been Trigs, been Lashak battleships. If you do get a drifter battleship, it is possible in some of the spawns that the frigates, instead of being these little igniting swarmers which target paint, which also makes them especially dangerous for your drones, but in the drifter sites there can be preservers in there, which will remote rep the battleships. And we'll go ahead and pull drones and just go get the loot, get ready to get out of here. Nice big red explosion. We like it when the Trigs explode. However, that's a little disappointing. We're 200 points off hitting our next Capsuleer Day quest goal. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'll do a Tier 3 video. If I do, it might be duo. I have recently come back to the game, as has my brother, and we are currently in Noir, which is a mercenary corporation, and we are also taking part in the Garistas Militia. So hopefully have some video at some point of that, probably of me being a big fat baddie, and yeah. Oh, so this is interesting. So this is the blueprint for the Tier 2 electrical site. I think for the most part what I'd been seeing is combat drops combat and relic drops relic. But this is a relic site blueprint, which is good because I needed another one of those Tier 2s, because when I tried recording one of those earlier, something went wrong with the recording. And here we are back at Jita 44 with our loot in tow. So let's take a look at some of this. So for event stuff, it can be very misleading. So you look at my cargo, 4.2 million. For that amount of work and for a fairly expensive filament, that's yikes. However, say you have no interest in doing the relic sites. You should, if you want to get up through the ranks of this, you need to really do both. But let's look at that BPC in the contracts. 35 million for that. Pretty good. And these components as well, these vary in price. That particular one, worth about 2 million. We've got 10 of them. Pretty good. Same with this guy, except we got 20 of those. So, yeah, it's good ISK, at least early on in the event. Now, prices will go down. Let's check this Glamorex booster. Woohoo! Yeah, buddy. And the turret, oh man. What does that turret booster do? Oh, yeah, no wonder. Holy smokes, that's a good booster. Might send that over to my PvP main. Might see Croven rocking one of those flying around in a catalyst or something. All right, and then, yeah, the skins are fine. Oh, that one's actually worth a few million. And then the Edencom, every Edencom box I've opened has had one of these in it. Historic Capsuleer Day clothing crate. And none of it's worth very much, but some of it looks kind of cool. So. But yeah, so don't let the lack of value on these fool you. Because that run was worth, if I were to sell everything I pulled out of that run, what do we say, 35, 250? 250 mil for 20 minutes of work, maybe 20 minutes of work. Plus, you know, the cost of the filament's got to be factored in and all that fun stuff. But if you're doing the event yourself, so many people are doing the events and selling the materials that you're not going to sell them very quickly. You're probably selling them to buy orders, which means you're going to make less money. It's worth doing these sites. It does not take all that much. This ship, what's the estimated cost of this fit? It's cheap. Yeah, 40 mil for this ship. And as you saw, had no problem tanking everything. Was absolutely fine. Remember to repair your drones. So yeah, that's about going to do it for this video. Maybe I might do one on the Tier 2 electrical site now that I got a filament for that. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribed. If all goes to plan, this will be the first video uploaded to this channel and the resurrection of the Drone Bay, which was a podcast many, many years ago about EVE Online, and hope to be putting out some more content here in the near future. Until next time, fly deadly.